Ted Cruz, Senator from Texas, he's caught your eye because he's saying that there is a coordinated effort by anyone in a position of power to use shutdowns, but particularly the shutdown of schools after the summer holidays are over, as a weapon against Trump. Now, before people start to go, oh, yeah, right-wing talking point here, have a look at this. In Los Angeles, the teachers' union said they won't go back to work until they defund the police, until they do what Black Lives Matter wants. So this is the wonderful thing about America on paper, is that everything is voted for, from literally the school board through to the president. Everything is appointed from the head of the department to the courts. But that means if you want to dig in, if you want to do your bit, well, this is what seems to be happening in real time. What do you think, Joe, of what the senator said?
Well, you're right. It's a bit like the way the whole mask debate was going. If you're for it, you're a Republican. If you're against it, you're a Democrat, and vice versa. Everything seems to be polarised. There are a lot of issues around returning to school, Paul, and that's one of the key reasons why my family moved back to Sydney, because the schools are open. They're going to school now. Whereas here, my wife and I are both on different school boards, and it is a hotly debated issue about whether the schools go back. In the case of the school that I'm on the board of, a private school, they are looking at 2 days on, 3 days off. And the teachers are, with some justification here, because there's just inadequate testing and so on, they're saying, well, hang on, what about my risk as a teacher? And the teachers, a number of teachers have diabetes, a number of them have health afflictions they don't want to talk about, and they see it as a risk in a society where coronavirus is really prevalent. But when they start to use it as a tool to weaponise against Donald Trump, it's crazy, and it completely undermines both the health and safety and mental health, in particular, issues associated with getting kids back to school.
Yeah, I've got to say, just the icing on the cake for me to absolutely solidify that was happening was that teachers' union in LA. Defund the police and then we'll come back to work.
Yeah.
That's not quite how it's supposed to work. But thank you for being so bald-faced right now. In fact, just about that. I mean, look, 99 days till the election right now, so it only gets crazier from here. But you do get the sense that the establishment media or the union movement or whatever the heck it is who's always hated Trump, they think because there's an inevitability of him going, they all want to put the final shove in. But I think everyone should be nervous about that because in the same way that the deplorables comment just opened up a whole reversal of fortune, too much push, that's going to feed into a president who's got, by the way, as you've noted before, a new campaign team. He's made a few changes. He's recalibrating a little bit here. He's ready to pounce on the excesses of the left, isn't he?
Absolutely. And he's very, very good at it. He hasn't even started his attack campaign against Joe Biden. It hasn't even started yet. And that's his great strength. Donald Trump is a pugilist, and he has the capacity to throw punches that can knock out an opponent in a very short period of time. And, he hasn't even started yet. But he needs to get rid of, as John Howard used to say, we've got to remove the barnacles in order for the boat to go faster in the lead up to the election. Donald Trump has to remove those barnacles. Self-inflicted wounds, talking about issues that are not relevant to the mainstream of the American people, tweeting in a really undisciplined way, and he's admitted it. He admitted it the other day. He said he regrets some of the tweets he puts out. So if he gets onto that more disciplined path, which evidence is suggesting that he is doing that, and the people around him tell me that he is much more focused now, if he continues along that path, there is no doubt in my mind the polls will narrow, and when he gets within striking distance, there's a very real chance he can win. I would not rule out Donald Trump winning the presidency, certainly not from some months out, and certainly even within a short period of time before polling day. There are many events that can change the outcome of the election.
Well, this is my thing, right? Look, I know the paperwork might be difficult. I know that being an obese smoker, it might be a small problem for me going around parts of the United States. But I want to go, literally, physically go back to the Obama-Trump counties and see if anyone who voted for him doesn't want to vote for him a second time. Because I think that there is the shy Conservative, the shy Tory, the shy Trump voter who is not out there. Like, we hear from everyone who never voted for him. But when we hear from somebody who said, I voted for him, but I won't vote for him next time, that's when things may well be, where the press is trying to push things. Finally, China. What was going on in the consulate in Houston, Texas, that forced it to be shut down?
Well, unquestionably, the Chinese were using devices, it's almost like a mothership, for basically cyber attacking and cyber hacking key businesses in the region. Houston is an energy hub of the world. It's also a major health hub, and a lot of technology and research is undertaken in Houston. And the Americans have named and jailed a couple of people who were cyber hacking in the Houston area for China. Now, the fact that as soon as the Americans were onto it, there was a massive bonfire of documents at the back of the Houston Consulate, suggested that there was an element of guilt and they were trying to cover up something. The fire engines were called. The net result was it became apparent that it was a hub for intelligence gathering for China. And the Americans responded. They closed it and they occupied it. In response, the Chinese have now closed an American consulate in regional China and have now occupied that consulate as well. So relations are at their worst point since they really reopened in 1979. So I think it's going to be a really, really tough period for relations between China and the US into the future.
Well, I know which side we should be on, and it's the one that we are on, which is the country of which you sit in right now.